Hello, welcome to London Colney's press conference. Time again, miserable day here. Arsenal training centre, wet and windy and cold, and pretty much going to sum up the mood a little bit in there because Arsenal had some really bad news today. No Lucas Torreira possibly until the end of the season. We'll have to wait and see on that, but the news has come out that he has fractured his ankle after that injury at Portsmouth. Arsenal haven't put a date on his return yet, but it doesn't look good for Torreira. Probably got a couple of months left on the season. A fractured ankle, you don't think that's going to be sorted any time soon, so whether he plays again this season, we'll have to wait and see. But that's going to be one of the big talking points in there today. Arsenal returning to action to the Premier League this weekend against West Ham, following on from that good win in the FA Cup against Pompey on Monday night. Mikel Arteta expected to give news on obviously Torreira, other team news, Tierney, people like that, Kolasinac, Cedric Suarez as well. So we'll get all the updates on that and all the build up ahead of that game against West Ham. Right, I'm going inside now because it is wet.
Right. Hi everybody, we do the usual first live broadcast and then we'll cut off and invite a section after. Oh.
So that's it, we've had Mikel Arteta's press conference here at London Colney. In quite a good mood, I think, not surprisingly, after the way they bounced back on Monday night against Portsmouth. Obviously Arsenal went into that on the back of that horrible result really against Olympiacos, and they needed to respond well, and they did that on Monday night at Pompey, and Mikel Arteta certainly seemed much more relaxed after that, heading into Saturday's game against West Ham. I thought I'd come on here and just talk through the main headlines really of what Mikel Arteta had to say here to us today. I'll start really with the big news today that came out about Lucas Torreira. Obviously Arsenal announcing that he has sustained a fracture to his ankle in that win against Portsmouth. We saw the tackle. Everyone's got their opinion on the tackle. And yeah, Torreira has suffered a fracture. That was announced by the club this morning before the press conference, and Arteta was clearly asked about a little bit more about that. And he said, I've got the quote here, said that Torreira was quite positive. They spoke to him this morning, and that Arsenal don't really know the extent of the injury yet. They obviously know it's a fracture, but they don't know the full extent of it yet. And that Torreira will see a specialist in London tomorrow, and then, quote, we will know more. I mean, whether he plays again this season, we'll have to wait and see, but a fractured ankle with 2 months left before the end of the season doesn't really bode well in terms of Torreira playing much football before the end of the season. I mean, it's possible to rule him out yet, and we'll find out more, I'm sure, probably after Saturday's game against West Ham. Arteta will be asked about it again, and Torreira would have seen a specialist by then. They might have a clearer picture in terms of the recovery plan and just how long it's going to take before Torreira's back. But I don't think we're holding out too much hope for seeing him again, certainly before the closing weeks of the season, if in the season at all, which is going to put strain on Arsenal's midfield. Obviously, we've got Xhaka and Ceballos really are the two at the moment who Arteta's preferring. Ceballos has forced his way in, played very well recently. I thought it was great at Portsmouth when he came on after Torreira's injury. And then there's Guendouzi as well, Joe Willock. But Torreira was still that different option for Arsenal. They don't really have another player like Torreira. I think he should be playing, he should be starting. I've always said that, but he's also a good option to have on the bench when you do need to shore things up and bring on a little bit more energy. And Arsenal now don't have that option, so it is a blow. There's no doubt about it, and it's going to be an even bigger blow if he doesn't play again before the end of the season. Talking about Ceballos there, Arteta was asked about Ceballos and the possibility of Arsenal turning his move permanent in the summer. Obviously, he's on loan from Real Madrid for this season. There is no option in that. There was no deal agreed in Madrid that would include an option to turn it permanent in the summer should Arsenal wish, but that doesn't necessarily mean they can't. They can't ask the question if they want to. There's been no indication yet, certainly that I've heard, that Arsenal are going to try and make that move permanent in the summer. But given his form in recent weeks, and Ceballos is happy here, he's enjoying it here, it might become an option. But Arteta was asked about that, and he said, we haven't had any discussions about it. I'm really happy with Dani. He's performing much better now, and that's why he's playing more games. So Arteta saying there hasn't been any talks with player or Madrid about the possibility of turning the move permanent. Madrid like Dani, certainly the club likes Dani. Zidane possibly not as much, and obviously Zidane is a very important man considering he's the manager and the coach. And he's never really taken to Dani Ceballos. When he was there the first time, he didn't play him. once he left, Ceballos started playing more for Madrid. Then once Zidane returned, Ceballos was out of the team again. So it'll be interesting. Zidane does continue as coach for next season, which doesn't really look like he won't be there. Whether Ceballos will want to stick around and play under him or not play under him, which probably be more of the case. So it'd be interesting, but I'm not sure in terms of if Arsenal are going to turn it permanently. First of all, it'd be expensive. I'm not sure he's done enough yet to warrant Arsenal looking to make that move permanent. Although I do think he's playing very well at the moment and has sort of done well since he's come back into the team under Arteta. And then Arteta was asked about Aubameyang's contract, as he is pretty much every week now. Obviously, that's a very big story. Got 15 into the final 15 months of his deal at the moment. Talks haven't been going on for a while at Aubameyang's request much earlier in the season, and it didn't look like it was going to happen until the summer. They weren't going to reopen until the summer, but appears from what Arteta said today that isn't going to be the case, and Arsenal are going to push to sit down around the table with Aubameyang and his advisors before the end of the season. Arteta said we will have to do that, sit down with him at some stage before the end of the season. I want to keep him in any circumstances. Now, that last comment's quite interesting, whether he means even if Aubameyang doesn't agree to extend his contract, that he wants to keep him and let him go on a free at the end of next season. Whether Rouse and Sinai and the Cronkies will agree to that and potentially lose out on 30, 40, 50 million on a player who they would lose on a free the following season remains to be seen. But I think Arteta probably would like to have Aubameyang around for another year, whatever happens in terms of his contract. But we'll have to wait and see on that. And I think it's quite tough to get to sort of gauge how that thing will go until the end of the season, until we know where Arsenal are going to be playing next season. Will it be in the Champions League? Will it be in Europa League? Will it be in Europe at all? I think it's going to be very difficult to get Aubameyang to agree to any sort of extension, but it's possibly a good sign and a positive sign that Arteta is pushing to have those talks opened as soon as possible, because he knows how important it is to get Aubameyang's future sorted one way or the other ahead of the summer. Those are the main sort of headlines that we've got from today's press conference. Like I said earlier, Tierney is now back in full training. Whether he's going to be fit enough, he's not played any football really, he hasn't even played for the 23s yet, so whether he's going to be involved at the weekend against West Ham, I'd say unlikely, but he is fit, and that is very good news for Arteta, who said today that Tierney's done 2 or 3 complete sessions. He's feeling more and more confident with contact with him, and hopefully will join the squad soon. So I take from that I'm not sure he'll be involved this weekend, even though Kolasinac is injured. So those are the big headlines. Here from London Colney today, we've got two days now before West Ham on Saturday. Arsenal looking to make it 3 Premier League wins for the first time, I think, since April. Shows how bad the form has been. That it's been that long since Arsenal strung 3 wins together in the league. But if they do that, if they can get the victory against West Ham side, who are struggling, although they had a good win last weekend, it will certainly close the gap. You'd think close the gap on those Champions League spots even more, and complete what would have been a very good response following the Olympiacos defeat.